It is really exciting today to be chatting with you all. Thank you so much for taking the time. Uh, It's so great to have the Umbrella Men franchise back in my life.
Aw, thanks.
Yay! We're
It,
Thank
happy to be
you.
back.
pardon?
Well, we're happy to be back.
We're happy to be back.
It really is. It really is something special. I mean, I saw the first film last year. Absolutely fell in love with it, and felt the same way about this one. I was wondering for you all, was there anything that you wanted to see going into the next chapter of the story?
Like what with the third installment?
No, I meant this one, but is there
Oh,
will there
I
be
was
a
like,
third
what are you
installment?
doing? And I was like, that's pretty quick on that one.
Let's get right to the third one. Forget this one.
Let's skip the sequel. Go on to the third. No,
Yeah.
I was really excited about the fact, when John was conceptualizing the second film and talking about story and how he was going to tackle it, and he mentioned that he wanted the woman to take on more of a like structural leadership role. That was something that up until I read the first draft, well, not the first draft, the draft that we read at the table read, up until then, I was so excited about stepping out, because I played Keisha, who is the love interest in the first film, and so stepping out of that like love interest role into a more female focused save the day leadership go-getter role. I was so excited to step into that.
Yeah, it's interesting how that perspective sort of shifts in this one in a lot of ways. It's the guys who need bailing out so much more, especially by the female characters, by the women characters. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah,
Um,
wonderful to play. Also, like our characters are strong, but also like we as actresses, we were like, all the female roles were performed by like really strong personalities, and you can see, and we all gelled, we all like got on well and had great chemistry, and you can see that on screen. And just like and yeah, just the way we navigated all of those scenes and took those like leadership positions, but then also did it with like that delicate feminine energy. That yeah, it's really fun to play.
I was just curious. Did you get to do much of the scuba diving then in preparation for the role for you both, or?
We did all of the scuba diving. We I think there was one shot in the film that were stunt doubles, but all of us, all three of us here, and sort of Jacques and a few others, we got our scuba diving accreditation before filming, because we literally were like, we heard about the scuba diving and John was like, oh no, we'll get stunt doubles, don't worry about it. And we were like, no, we will do our own stunts, send us for the course and we'll get it done. And that's exactly what we did. So most of the underwater stuff we shot ourselves.
That's pretty cool. That's wild. That's wild. Um, One of the things I love about this franchise, and I mean, so many. I'm forgive me for using the term heist film necessarily, but the heist films in general often get compared to say like the Ocean's franchise or other something like this. But what I love about this particular franchise with the Umbrella Men films is there's a sense of justice to the capers, if you will, even the escape from Robben Island. I was just wondering for the three of you, what do you think that's so important to these films to add a little bit extra to it, other than out of even the first film isn't about just we got to get the money. It's we need the money. And this film, there's a real sense of justice embedded in the story of Robben Island.
Yeah, if I can take this one. I think, that's what makes John and Philip's writing so amazing, is that they obviously, like any other writer, you want your characters to be aspirational. And from the first one, it was a constant going up against a system or the man. And you want these sort of if you will, nobodies from nowhere, from just the streets, to come out on top. And I think in the writing itself, it's come across really well. So like, credit to the writers, but I think everybody loves a winner. Everybody loves, the what do you call it, the dark horse coming through, or the underdog. And I think we do it so well, and that he's made our antagonist so non-likable, if you will, but also likable in a way that you want the four heroes to come out on top. And again, once again, we're fighting for the Goema, which is our home, and I think that's part of the themes, or the themes that we deal with in this film. It's family, heritage, home. So I think we nailed it.
Yeah.
With trying to be modest and
I agree. I think you did. So you could say that, because I absolutely think the film is so much fun. It is so much fun. And I love, of course, you bring up the Goema, the Keenan, and the Bocap especially. And there's a line in this film where the characters, I won't say where they are, but they're sitting there in and I think it's Jerome, where he just says, it might actually be you, Shamilla, I'm not sure. I think we all just need to go home, is the line. I think we all just need to go home.
That's Mila's line.
Is it? It's Shamila's line.
Bronte's line.
No, Bronte's line.
Oh, Bronte's
Mila.
line. Oh, it's Mila's line. Sorry.
It's not Shamila's.
But I love that aspect, and I'm just wondering, for you all, what do you think it means to go home, and what is the importance of that?
Well, you know what it is also. So like, I think home, as much as everyone goes, home is with the people and where your heart is and all that stuff, I think within this community, the story of what this community has been through from the get-go, they've been displaced in the apartheid era. And now, in the first film, we touched on gentrification happening in the Boer Cup, where, people have realized it's such a prime spot of land that they've been segregated to, but now they're trying to get everyone out, where it's like this community has been displaced over decades now, and they're on the brink of being displaced again if they're not protected. And so what home means to this group of people and this community is that it's that sense of community that they've built after being displaced. So the saying, home is where the heart is, and you're at home when you're with your people. But in this case, I really do think home means home, as in the Boer Cup, because it means it's got such meaning to these characters.
Yeah, and I think it's also very well depicted in the opening scene, or one of the opening scenes, with the four of them on the steps overlooking the Boer Cup, and you see there is a sense of, we are home, but where do we go from here? What happens to us from here? Jerome and Keisha's got their dreams and their future that they've got planned. Mila's got her plans as being producer. Mortimer's still within the community, but it's still home. You'll still come back to the Goema. And yeah, I think we feel it. You feel it throughout the film. And like Shamilla said, like the displacement of people, Robben Island being a huge part of that history. So I think it's just getting that hook back and reminding that home is, for these characters, is the Boer Cup, is the Goema.
I love that you brought up Robben Island there, Keenan, because I mean it's in the title of, obviously it's in the title of the film, but there's such a sense of history, just incorporating it into the story the way that the film does. I was wondering, for you three, what was that like, shooting in Robben Island, and with all the history there, and so many conversations and connections with Mandela sort of pop up within this film. What was that like, being in that space?
So just to break a bit of the magic,
Oh no! Oh no!
With some of the magic. As filmmaking goes.
I should have asked first.
Look, we wanted nothing more than to shoot, and I know John and the producers tried very hard up until like I
So
think
hard.
to get. In fact, it was a yes up until like I think maybe the last week, right, ladies, where we had the right or we had permission to shoot on Robben Island, but then it became a heritage site thing and coming with crew. But what our art department managed to do, obviously together with John's vision, what managed to do so amazingly was to recreate the island as it is, as it's currently standing. And
they went through like tons of recce's before
yeah,
building the sets for those locations. They had like the crew had gone to the island to go and like do recce's.
yeah, and I think as much as we it was a built set, we still sort of, I think on set when we shot in those on like in those cells and whatever, there was still a sense of this is where our history lies, you know. It still comes across in the story, and we needed to, I think, carry that with us, not so much in the dialogue but in our the feeling of it. But yeah, it plays such a big role, especially, I mean, in the first one, Burkhardt was was one of the leading characters. And I think what John did amazingly was to sort of show the vastness of Cape Town and the diversity of it. So being Table Mountain, being the Burkhardt, being Robben Island. And yeah, I think we tapped into that when being on set. They even managed to get a port that was 2 hours that looked exactly like the port that they have on Robben Island, and we traveled for like 2 hours outside of Cape Town. We ended up shooting in, where do we shoot the quarry scene, girls?
Quarry
We
scene
were
was
up
done on like some horse farm,
in horse
also like
farm.
an hour out of the city. We had loads
Yeah.
of, and we shot it when Bronte and I are running like through the island, like after we get through the bunkers and over the island to like get to the quarry. That was the actual naval base in Simonstown that also like replicates what it looks like on Robben Island. So they found all of these different locations all over the city to replicate, to make it seem like we actually were shooting on Robben Island. The art team did such an incredible job.
Yeah. So I'm sorry we didn't really shoot on it, but that's our secret.
Unfortunately, we tried.
Well, I mean,
but a lot of work went into it to make it seem like we did. So I'm glad it fooled you.
Yeah,
it did, and you know, it was interesting because, you know, whether or not you were there, I like what you said. I think it was Keenan said it. There's a certain sense of tapping into the story and history, whether or not you're in that exact location. It sort of felt like that the history was coming alive in those moments, because even for the writing and for those characters, you could see that this is part of the story of the community, part of the story of the nation, and it mattered to them. You know, there's a certain sense of honor that that there is an insistence of bringing that part of the story rather than just making it a cool backdrop, is what I'm saying. And I thought that I see that in this franchise.
Amazing.
Yeah, I also
just
think...
to touch on, sorry, Keenan, just to touch on that also, the like at the end of the day, we're telling our stories from South Africa and what we all resonate with, but we're also entertainers, right? It is a comedy film, it is a fun film, it is all of these things. And then, you know, the beauty of what we did by tapping into the location specifically and using this part of our history to kind of like showcase it, but not in a like drama, doom and gloom kind of way. And it still like highlights the beautiness of, and also the ugliness of what went down there. And what I really think that's going to come out of this, what I'm hoping, is also there are some people that might watch the film and not know anything about the history. And then that kind of like sparks off a light bulb and go, oh, what is it with this Robben Island? What is this Robben Island place? So kind of like to like re-highlight to the new generation and share a piece of our history, but through forms of entertainment.
Also, just I think the inclusion of certain characters like Birdman, who also comes with his own, the actor himself comes with his own sense of history and of that time. So he obviously fed that into what he brought to screen as the character, played by Solly Philander. And so I think what John and the team did really well was they really spent time on the research, you know, so that they hit all those points. It's not just waffle, it's not just frivolous, kind of washed over. They really spent time on the history and what went down with Mandela, with those guys over there. And so someone like Birdman coming in just to, like Shamilla says, to remind us of that history, and what happened. So it's just, again, credit to the writing and John's sort of.
I agree.
Absolutely, and you know, I like Shamilla, what you're saying there. Like, the film is so much fun. This is not a hitting you over the head, you know, sort of browbeating it, but it's so embedded in the writing, and it comes out beautifully. That's just part of the stories. Even the fact there's a certain sense of the injustice of the quote justice system, you know, as these characters are arrested for something they didn't do, which is so ironic because of the things they did do in the first film.
they did do it, but like not for the reason that they got arrested.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit like you know, running in a drag race, but then getting caught by taking a red light, missing a red light or something at the end. It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
I think, especially if you've seen the first film, that is just sort of the payoff, that they do get arrested for what they did before, but now there's a bigger challenge ahead, or bigger evil that they have to fight. And so call in the women to save the men. I think it works well.
So much fun. So much fun. I'm just wondering, for all three of you, well, first of all, I mean, I do have to ask, are we looking for the Umbrella Men to return again? Is this already in the works? Keenan's just nodding.
Hope so.
Yes.
No,
we're starting rumors.
Yeah, we're starting, exactly. Bronte, I love that. We're starting rumors. When we started shooting the first film, we were like, not the first film, the second film, like once it came to fruition and we were actually shooting, we were like, I mean, we can't make two and not make a third one. It just doesn't seem fair to anyone. But the producers and John, the director, he or they, I think they're going to see what the success of the second film is going to do, and if audiences want to see another one, I think they are open to the discussion of it happening. We as actors, we're obviously like, let's do it. Get to, like, even if we only shoot it in 2 years' time, like at least start writing it as like, just manifest that it's going to happen. So we are hoping that it does happen, but we have to wait and see what the response is and how well it sells.
I just want to say that I do think if it happens, it means that we have work as actors.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I'll have another job.
Well, therein lies the added benefit, of course.
Exactly.
Continue the characters, also make money, also get up and work every day.
Yeah. No, I think it's a no-brainer. I really think everybody's on board with the idea that a possibility of a third would tie it up nicely. You know, I mean, the rule of three, right? So I really do think that a third would be amazing.
And you know what impressed me most about this film is that, you know, the first one's a heist film and the second one still has that vibe, but it's not the same thing. You know, it's sort of like, well, we're going to keep the same vibe, the same energy, the same spirit, but we're not just going to rob someone else. You know what I'm saying? I love that aspect of it. I'm in for a third one.
It's not a copy and paste of a formula that we know works. And John mentioned this last week in one of the interviews, that because it was a similar statement that was made, and when he was conceptualizing the second film, it was a big thing. He was like, the first film is such a success that it was like, it would be such a cop-out, and it also wouldn't work. He was like, if we just did the same thing again for the second one, he was like, it actually won't work because there's nowhere for the story to go. And people have seen it before. People have seen the characters, and like, if it's a heist, or if it's any kind of like, he even said, he was like, the reason that they took Robben Island as like one of the locations was because if it was just a regular prison on like land that they just had to drive up to and like figure out a way to get in and escape them out, it just like didn't have as much like oomph and adventure. So the adventure of diving and then going through a cave and running through bunkers and like the whole escape thing was quite a big feat. And I think he just wanted to add like adventure and flip the script to that. So kudos to them.
And I think also just in terms of like the Oceans franchise, I mean, with every film, the risk or the stakes are even higher. I mean, by the third one, they come together as Garcia's character and all of them, and they fight a bigger evil, which I think John and Philip, they're getting right in terms of what these characters and what the characters' challenges are, and where they see themselves and find themselves doing, like scuba diving.
So what I heard is the third one is you go to space. Is that what I heard? Is that
That's what we were saying last week.
Well, it's got to be added as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we find ourselves in fighter jets or.
I would not say no. To hell yes.
Yeah.
I want to see Bronte and Shamilla taking those fighter jets to save the men once more.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
You should see us jump out of the fighter jets in those like base flying suits, like
Yes.
those, and just like
Mission
skimming the
Impossible.
mountains, like
It's
exactly.
just Tom Cruise's whole thing.
We'd be so down for that, eh?
We really would. Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Well, I mean, just as we start to wrap up, I was wondering what the three of you hope people take away from Escape from Robben Island.
What I hope that people take away is just this, like, at the end of the day, family really is everything. And whether it's a chosen family or a real family, like that sense of like family and community, that makes you feel like all warm and fuzzy on the inside. Like that's how I want people to feel at the end of this film. Be like, oh, they've really got each other, and like they really stick together through thick and thin. Like I want them to walk away with warm, fuzzy feelings and have been entertained.
I keep picturing Vin Diesel. Family. It's all about family.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I did say that.
I'm going to quote Vin Diesel and say family is everything.
I'm so embarrassed for myself.
But yeah.
Oh my god.
You're so in sync. Well done. Well done.
You
So
just
I'm
yes.
so embarrassed.
Well, maybe we can make as many Fast and Furious movies. Let's say
How many are there? They're like
do it.
9.
10.
9.
10.
10. That's a lot.
You just have to end each one of them with you all sitting around having Corona or whatever it is.
Yeah.
At a barbecue.
Hopefully
definitely
next
saw the
time The
first
Rock
2.
shows up, John Cena shows up. We'll just have
Oh wow. Oh wow. I've only seen the first 2. I didn't even know there were that many.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just to answer your question, Steve, it's just, I think, family and is what this film is about, and we meet our characters. They go through the most, but they come back to maintain this unit. You know, they save the Goema. That's where home is, and family is really everything.
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that they would.
Don't quote us on this.
Already
Say
recording.
something else other than family, please.
Yeah,
I'm trying to divert it somewhere else. I swear. I'm not going to mention family.
But yeah, just
Oh my
also
gosh.
it's a fun, adventurous film, and I just want people to go and enjoy it and hopefully feel the way you did when you watched it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want people to just be entertained and really just enjoy it. And to find the stories relatable. I want them to find themselves in one of the characters. Because what I love about this movie is that, yeah, the girls are kicking ass. They're going out and rescuing the guys. They're doing these impossible things, swimming underwater, going through a cave. But their response is always like, they're regular people. They're just musicians, just a banker, just a producer. Like, we're not like action heroes, but yet we're doing it and we're finding the comedy element in it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you all. Honestly, I appreciate the chance to chat with you. I am looking forward to number 3. And I'm just so grateful for the chance to chat. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank
Thanks for your
you.
time.
Thanks so much. It means a lot. Thank you.
Anytime. Have a great day.
You too.
Ciao.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.